Hello, back again with another part of our Let's Draw Spooky Halloween icons. And this time we want to do what we had, the candle icon. So some kind of old candle, a little bit melted, etc. So this, again, there's a number of ways you can approach this. You could literally, pen tool, pen tool, pencil tool, and even just using basic shapes. So I'm not really sure which one to go for. I mean, if you want something very organic, you could use the pen tool, or sorry, the pencil tool. But let's try and just use a basic shape for the moment. So I'll select my square, and there we go. Color it black, because it's going to be another silhouette. People have asked me on one of the Facebook groups. Yes, I will be doing coloring tutorials as well. So that will be going soon. But for now, we're just sticking to kind of basic drawings, drawing and editing your drawings, etc. So there's your basic candle. You could also use a basic shape as a wick if you wanted a trapezoid tool, and we'll invert that and leave a little gap there just to add some interest and a little bit of extra detail. I could turn it slightly. I'm going to make the whole thing smaller just for a moment. And let's get another basic shape, our tier tool, because that will do rather nicely for our flame. And I will kind of adjust this slightly. Something like that. That looks okay. It's not brilliant. In fact, I think it needs more curvature, so I'm going to convert it to curves, because you only have limited properties that you can do with the basic shape. Now I can kind of make it more interesting. Something like this. A point is very sharp, so I'm going to get our old friend the corner tool out. That's a little bit nicer. Again, I'm going to convert to curves so I can bake in the corner stuff I made up here with the corner tool. And I'll use the shape, the tier shape again, and I'm going to make it white this time. For the inside of the flame, something like this, maybe a bit smaller. Yeah, I'll change it a little bit to add a little bit of interest, and then we have that. That looks, that looks fine. Nothing. It's not Leonardo da Vinci or anything. But what I'll do now is I'm going to take this. I'm going to select this. Oops. I'm going to select these two shapes, and I'm going to make a Boolean operation here. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so now this has become part of that, and now we've taken it away from the main flame, so we have our piece here. Now the problem is our wick is showing through. I think the wick is a little bit long anyway, so I can do this. But really, I think it would probably be better if the wick also had a little bit of white on it. So there's, again, loads of ways we could do this. I'm going to try this way. I'm going to take this. I'm going to make it a different color. And I'm going to expand it a bit. I mean, I could use a stroke as well. I just put a stroke around it, but I just want to bring this down behind our sorry, I want to just bring this behind our wick, something like that, and we'll bring this back, put that to the very back. Now you'll probably see what I'm doing now in a moment. I'm going to, because I want to leave a gap for the wick just to add a little bit of extra interest. And now we have this, and I will bring it something like that. I still think that that wick is too heavy, so I'm gonna something like that. So yeah, that'll do fine. Happy enough with that for now. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a subtract boolean with our candle flame. So now if we go over here, you'll see what we have. We bring it back and we have our white again. So you could say that's kind of done and dusted. There's your candle, a basic rectangle, although it's extremely boring. So let's not just end there. But you could if you wanted something exceedingly simple. But let's not do that. Okay, so we have our rectangle. Nudge it down a bit, just away from the wick there. And I'm going to convert to curves so I get access to the, that means I can go in and start manipulating the shape. Now, candles, are very organic looking, so let's try and mess it up a bit. And they're also, you can make it quite 3D looking if you start adding in bends here, let's say. Add a node there, something like that. So already we're starting to get a lot more of an interesting shape. I'm going to just use the pencil tool, and I'm going to draw. Of course, I have it at white from my last, so I'll just it's a little bit sharp in places, which I don't want. But just for the moment, I'm going to move this these away for the moment. As I said, so yeah, okay. So we're starting to see a more kind of interesting wax kind of shape. Again, you don't want it too mad looking, or it'll start to look a little bit strange like it is now. I just have to adjust the handle here, something kind of, yeah, I mean, I don't mind if it's a little bit weird looking because it is, I wanted a kind of an old kind of candle, and candles tend to have, they have like kind of a rounded shape. You wouldn't have it like this as I have here. It's just too sharp. You just don't see candles like that. And if you see what I did there, I tried to bend the whole thing, but we had another node, so I had to kind of basically add another node to stop the whole shape bending. I'll do that here, I think. That could be kind of... So yeah, we're starting to get somewhere. Add another node. Bend this a little bit, yeah. Add another node. Bend this out. And again, we want it looking kind of round. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of getting there. I think this could be more interesting. And maybe bring that down a bit to follow it. Yeah, okay. I'm happy enough with that for the moment. Oh, the hell happened there? I do not know. Okay. Well, that's my old candle. Sorry, yeah. And we'll bring that down for the moment, but we'll do something similar for this because I want to leave that kind of a space. I just, yeah, no. So I want to bring the wick back. It should be roughly in the middle. and I'll have to do, and this time I'm just going to draw something in with the pen tool. Pen tool, get rid of the stroke. I've covered some of these techniques before, so I'm not kind of trying to linger on them, so you probably catch them a little bit better on in the previous tutorials. So I've just done a strange U here, just so you can see it a bit better, and we can line this up. Again, probably bow it out a bit because the wick is also kind of slightly kind of rounded as well. And then if we want to see how that would look, we just, yeah, I don't know about that. No, what I'll do is I'm just going to get my pen tool, and I'm just going to do one point. I thought that the U shape looked a little bit too much, so I'm going to just do that instead. I think that looks a bit better, and I'm going to select those two pieces, and I'm just going to boolean that. So we have this. I can see the divot there. Now, in reality, like if this shape is coming down here and curving. So what we could do is take the pen tool, and we could just follow that line, maybe like this. Oops. Just to give it more form. That's probably a little bit heavy. Not happy with that. No, I'll try something. Try it this way. Yeah, it's a bit better. It's a bit sludgy. I think up here looks a bit sludgy, but anyway. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just leave that there for the moment. I think this is just a bit heavy, this curve, so I'm gonna bring it in, and I'll bring this in slightly as well. I'm just adjusting the kind of proportions a bit so it looks, yeah, I mean, we're getting there with it. Take the knife tool because I want to cut this bit. We'll double click in here and just pull it back out a bit. There's a bit of a point there that I don't really want. So I can either I could get the corner tool or just get the knife tool, cut it, delete it, double click, and then, so it's a little bit nicer to look at. This line here looks very even, so I kind of don't want that. I want, yeah, that's a bit better. You want different weights to your line. Maybe that. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. This is probably a little bit too wide as well, but I can just close that slightly. Okay, so we have now our kind of basic candle. What did our old one look like? Ugh. Yeah, it's pretty rock and roll. It's pretty melted. So let's add some melts into this. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could do it, but I mean, you could go for your drip tool, color it there, make sure you bring it in tight, and there you've got one drip. Now, if you wanted to start angling this, what I would do here, I'd take my enable transform origin. I turn that on, and now you can see you have your origin, and our little drip will rotate and transform from this point. But I would take that point and I'd put it at the top here, and that's easy for me to do because I've got my snapping on. So now when I rotate it, it'll do like a clock, you know, it'll rotate like a clock. So that's just a little bit easier to position it now. Instead of it rotating in the middle, I can literally get it and kind of rotate as I wanted. I'm not all that convinced by this drip. Yeah, if I bend it in, it looks, yeah, that looks better. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that actually. And let's be lazy and just simply drag this over, holding down Option, and we'll flip it. And now we have another drip. And you can kind of decide where you want to position it. To vary it, to make it a little bit more varied, you could alter the size. You know, so we can just another one there. I could even take another one and put it here. Although my kind of favorite way of drawing in kind of organic-y looking drips would be to get my pen tool and just literally draw something out like that, round it, and you kind of have a drip like this. Like I kind of prefer those. Yeah, I mean, put one up here, I think. So it would flow down this way, and then it's a bit small, and there's a bit too much space, I think. So I can just reposition it. So something like this. Although this is a 2D icon, obviously, don't fall into the trap that, well, unless unless this is your design goal or whatever, try and think of it as a 3D object. If you want that type of extra detail that I've added here, so we would then do a drip. I'm going to just change the color for the moment. We would do a drip like something like this, coming down. And one there, turn it round, make it small, say. Maybe that's a bit too small. Just position it wherever you want it to look good. So probably the quickest way to make this, like what I want to do is, I mean, obviously I can't turn these black, you won't see them. So I want to use the kind of a white piece to make them to stand out. So I'm just going to take this here for a second, and I'm just going to hold Option and duplicate it. And I'm going to just change the color just so you guys can see it. Normally I wouldn't even bother changing colors because I know what I'm kind of doing. So I'm going to take my duplicate, and I'm just probably going to expand it a bit, and we'll do this. And then I'm just going to select both and subtract. That'll leave me with this. So I can put it back and go, and we have our our new drip there. Obviously the Boolean has left me with this undesirable piece. Gone. Select, get rid of the nodes. And I might, again, same here. I'll take it out, duplicate it. I'll change the color so you guys can see it. Probably make it a bit bigger. I mean, I could change the angle to see something like this. Select both, do the Boolean operation. Now we have this. This is too long, so I'm just going to get the knife tool, select it, slice, and I want to then taper that in a bit. That's a little bit sharp, but anyway. So I'm going to change the color with the ink dropper tool, and I'm going to pop this back in. So now we have some more details. We could, if we wanted, we could make this longer to add even more form, but you get the idea. I'm not going to go in too much detail. We'd probably cut in this area here like that, probably like this. So this just gives more form to the piece. That's probably a little bit, I'm going to extend that, but when you extend that, it kind of skews, so you just have to go in and This is very small, this strip, I think. And just beware when you're moving in your extra pieces, you know, don't leave it like that, and because you'll end up with a jag when you join everything. Right, so something like this so far. We'll add in another taper here, little taper for him. That's too big. Let's make it smaller. I want to try and match. I'll just show you guys there so you can. I want to try and. I don't want this kind of paper cut here, kind of left. I want to match it as best I can. Now it doesn't have to be ultra perfect. I mean, yeah, you know, you can zoom right in Affinity, which is a great feature, which you can't really do in Animate or Illustrator. So lovely. I want to just have a look at this now, and I want to see the new little bits I've done, and I want to. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to. This is a workflow technique that I use, and I find it very, very fast. I'm going to basically Command X these, so I have it in my memory, and I'm going to select all my shapes here, and I'm going to just go and perform a add boolean, so this all becomes one shape. Now I'm going to press V, and my shapes are back. But here's an interesting thing. This is a flaw in Affinity, and I have not been able to find a way out of it. So let's say you saw what happened there when I had these in the memory, and I tried to paste them. So Command X to keep them in your memory, Command V to paste them. You saw that they pasted them in the window here, and not on the side of so they pasted it in the canvas and not here. It never will, and that's a bit of a pain in the ass. So what I have to do is I have to bring it back, and then, but I should have just done it there and then. I'm going to make that one object. So basically, so what I have to go in here now is I have to make sure they're all lined back, and that's a bit of an annoyance. So, but I'm sure that should be, is that, oh God, is that? Okay, okay, something has gone awry here, but let's, okay, I'm going to just leave that there for the moment. It doesn't really matter for now. I mean, if something did happen, you just, it's easy enough to, I'm just going to select all the nodes and move them manually. Okay, so we have our bits. I want to cut these white bits out, and I'm just going to, oh, sorry, I wanted to show you that. So so I'll show you that trick. So if I want something in my memory, I select what it is and Control X. Now that's in my memory, and I do whatever I'm doing, maybe making this one shape or whatever, alter something, and then I just go Command V and they're back on in the exact same place. But on the canvas here, or outside the canvas, it won't work, bizarrely. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that strange anomaly in Affinity. So now I'm selecting our two objects, and this is the second object, of course. So we have these two selected, Boolean operation, minus, and now we have our shape. Yay. So we have our shape here, and lovely. Okay, probably the last thing I would do, again, this is okay, so the mesh has gone a bit awry here. Obviously the bit of white wasn't lined up. I'm just going to correct that. Boop. Very easy. Just delete the nodes that you don't want, and then just adjust it with the handle. Again, this is just a very simple candle. It's not like I'm not precious about it or anything. Okay, so lastly, what we could do is if you wanted to distress it more, make it look even more organic, you could add more kind of blobby bits here that would indicate that the candle has been kind of burning for longer. Something like that. They look absolutely awful. Okay, I might go. I might be able to mess. I might be able to keep that one. This one though. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it just gives it more of a splat at the bottom as if the candle wax has been melting there for a while. And if that was the case, the candle would probably be would be further out, I would think. Something like that. But anyway, so we'll again make that all one, and I'll lastly come in here and I'll just make this so you can see it. I'm going to just put in a couple of more bits of white just to give the icon a bit more form in here as well. Oh, I'm not sure if I've done that right. Something like that. Yeah, or well, maybe just here as well. If you want to see how they look, you just turn them white. If you're happy enough with them, then you can just select the three, make them one shape, and just minus them from and there's your completed candle. From there there's your candle done. You could, if you wanted to do some kind of simple holder, let's get the knife tool and we'll just slice this off. And you could, just do something. Bring that to the bottom by using one of these. So now we've got a little kind of candle holder, but it would be something like so. I'll just duplicate that. So I've got two of them. I'll Boolean operation to get rid of part of it. I'm going to increase the size of it slightly. And then just skew it a bit so it's a bit more, and you would do something like this is, again, I'm just doing this very simply. 2 circles. Candle holders are quite thick, so I'll select both of those, minus, and we've got like our little candle holder. But you would want to see some form here because we've kind of made the object kind of 3D. So probably what I would do, okay, sorry. I'll leave that there. I'm going to take, take this one. Again, so you guys can see it, I'm just going to use different colors. And I'm going to do a Boolean operation, minus, and now we have these bits here. And something like this would probably work. So problem is I can't, even if I get this, turn it black, it kind of works, but it's not. It's quite simple, but or it looks a bit sharp. It kind of works, but one thing you can't really do. That's a bit too thick, but anyway, you get the idea. That you can't, once you have these, you can't make the shapes smaller. So I can't select those and make them smaller like you can a normal shape. Like for this, I can select it and then I can the corner of the bounding box and I could make it bigger, smaller. But you can't do that for individual or shapes within shapes, you know, when you have to go down to the node level, and that is a pain. So what I would have to do with this is, if I wanted it smaller, I'm just doing this roughly, by the way, just as, you know, I'd have to do something like this. I'd have to select the nodes and manually do it, something like that. Yeah, so you end up, that's awful, that, but I just wanted to show you that you could use some circles to make it, give it a little candle holder. But this is the kind of finished bit. Yeah, now I just wanted to fix that. It looks a bit strange. We'll bend that out. Yeah, still looks weird. Add another node. So I'm going to just get rid of it. Yeah, get rid of it. Blob that a bit. I'm just not happy with that at all. Pardon me as I go silent for a second. Yeah, okay, so that'll do. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. A bit more organic kind of than the other ones. Again, simple shape, but more organic and blobby looking. You can obviously then go in and make it wider if you wanted, or longer. Don't be, you know, if you decided that you wanted your candle a little bit different. But so far, I think one of the, sorry, I can't, once I start these things, it's hard for me to stop. One more adjustment I'd like to make is this. No, that hasn't. Again, some of these things are just trial and error as well. You know, I'm trying to now with this piece of white. Hello? Yeah, I'd like to kind of just having trouble selecting this. I'm not sure. This is because it's not closed. Sorry. Pardon me. Let me do this again. So just to give more depth inside where the wick is, something like that. And you can position it whatever. I mean, the flow goes up slightly at an angle, so something like that maybe to kind of match it. And you can experiment. Maybe you want it the other way, like this. Yeah, I prefer it the other way. So there you go. I'm gonna leave it there, except for our friendly neighborhood Boolean operation to remove that. So it's all part of the. And again, the reason why I'm so very anal about removing these white pieces, in case you haven't seen my previous tutorial, so you go, anyone else can leave now or leave whenever they want, because if you were selling this as a piece of stock art and you want to people might want it on different color backgrounds, so this is why it's now a simple operation for them to do that. If I had left all these little bits white, they'd have been cool on a white background, but if someone decided to put it on that or whatever color, they might decide to put it on you're going to, the client or whoever is going to have, it's going to be more difficult for them. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this one. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. So yeah, I'll do a couple more on the spooky Halloween things. I'll do some coloring, and then we'll start getting back into more complex stuff that I have for kind of TTRPG stuff. Yeah, so thanks, and if you have any comments or questions, drop me a line. Ihawa, as they say on Irish TV, which means good night.